right. 2021, November of 2021, we got the release of Ghostbusters Afterlife, a movie that I forgot was being released. I seen a trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife in 2019 when I went to see the sequel to Jumanji, and I forgot this movie was coming out. This movie was released this week, right?
Yep, this week.
So I'm not gonna lie to you, brother. I had the lowest of expectations for this. My initial question was like, why is this being made? We got another cameo from a character or an actor from the movie Stranger Things. We got Paul Rudd. This is a recipe where we're going the grounded and realistic route. This is a recipe for box office dread here. After
Mm,
the 2016 Ghostbusters movie that not too many people went to see.
right.
Quickest review of this movie here, my guy. You went to see this last night. What were your thoughts on it, man?
All right. Thoughts on Ghostbusters Afterlife? I am a big time Ghostbusters fan ever since I was a kid. Saw the real Ghostbusters cartoon, watched the two movies, watched Extreme Ghostbusters, had the Proton Pack, the whole 9 yards, got the 360 game, Ghostbusters, the video game, which was actually the third movie that was actually a script but turned into the video game. So now saw the 2016 one. Didn't want to remember that one. So here we are, 2021 with Ghostbusters Afterlife. I can probably say that this was basically a course correction for the fans. You know what I mean? This was the movie that the fans wanted and they delivered on it. They took elements from Stranger Things, they took elements from a more grounded, realistic, well not realistic, a more grounded, simplistic approach. They took the Ghostbusters out of the city, they took the setting out, put it to the countryside, middle of nowhere. We got a character called Phoebe, who's Egon's granddaughter, who
Is
discover yeah,
that a
who
plot twist or was that up
uh
front?
no, it was up front. It's in the trailer. It's in
Okay.
you can tell in the trailer. It's Egon's granddaughter, and her family moves to the middle of nowhere because her mom is basically sort of a bum and can't keep up finances. So the only thing they have left is Egon's old home that he moved to, and it's basically kind of like a haunted mansion, haunted house type joint. And basically, in there, the end, they give you the moment that we wanted. They gave you the original cast of the Ghostbusters coming back to help save the day in full uniform. Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson in full uniform with the proton packs, helping out the rest defeat the main bad guy of the film.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, they did a move that was very, very iffy.
Uh-oh.
Okay. They did a move that was very iffy that could have been in bad taste, but they pulled it off. They pulled it out their ass. They actually did a CGI ghost rendition
Oh
of Harold
man.
Ramis. They did.
Oh man.
They
Word?
did. They did a ghost rendition of Harold Ramis in uniform, and
Okay.
it looked good. I
But
got it.
how did it
Huh?
okay, it looked good, right?
It looked good.
Well, how did it feel?
How did it felt? It felt honest. It felt
Okay.
sincere. The
Man.
story was building on basically the legacy of Egon and his granddaughter being kind of the awkward weird child and finding out her legacy and finding out what her grandfather did and why he was protecting others in this isolated farm area in the countryside.
I respect that, man. Like I respect that. So upon seeing that, you said it felt honest, right?
Felt honest, and I think what helped was that they had the son of the original director direct this, and not only that, the father and son were on set like every day. You know what I mean?
Man.
So they literally
Okay.
went. This is one of those rare moments, I guess, in this current era of cinema where they went the corporate route in 2016. It
Hmm.
didn't work. They said, let's scale it back. Let's make something genuine and let's see if we can. Let's course correct this, make the fans, the hardcore happy, try to pull in anybody new, and then we'll go from there. And
Okay.
that's exactly what this film accomplishes for the Ghostbusters fans. We got the grandfather, granddaughter, proton stream blast, like the father son Kamehameha wave, where
Man, that's
the spirit Egon was holding his granddaughter steady as she was aiming the stream at
yo,
the villain, yo. Like,
yo,
pulling on the feels, man. But it was
man,
sincere, man. Like, it was
dude,
sincere, dude. It was heavy, man. It was heavy.
that's some heavy, yeah, that's some heavy shit right there. So, because the one thing that I think, like the original Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2 never tapped into that. There was never anything, it was entertaining, it was smart, it was comical, but it never tugged on those kind of strings right there. You know what I
Nah, it
mean?
never felt personal. Right,
Oh
right.
man, and they
Never
and
felt
you're what
personal.
and you're saying that they executed this perfectly in this movie right here.
They did. I'm astonished. Like, I knew there was a good. I was 90% sure the originals are gonna come back. Right, at some point
Of
during this
course,
movie,
of course.
they're at least gonna cameo. The bonus for them to put them in the suit and put them in action.
Mhm.
But to see them carry out the spirit of Egon and the CGI effect, it looked so real. He didn't, there was no word said, just all facial expressions.
Man, oh man,
Man,
yeah,
and you see the original three with him right there beside them. Oh my! And they gave you the shot. They gave you the clear shot of, like, yeah, they're back. You know what I'm saying?
that's
Like,
that's heavy, bro.
yeah, dude.
That's
Yeah,
that that's that is
yeah.
heavy right there, and it's fucked up, because I don't know. Do you think that enough people will be going to see this movie for that to actually get across the way that it was meant to get across?
Um, man, I don't know about the box office draw for this film because the
Hmm.
timing of it and the delays and the fact that the Ghostbusters property is on shaky grounds. I'm not gonna lie, it
Hmm.
is on shaky grounds. Um, I don't think I think they leave, of course, room for the future of the franchise.
That's the
Um,
industry standard.
yeah, that's it's
That's the
I'll
industry
talk about it
standard.
in a second, man. But to be honest with you, I don't think it's gonna be. It's the pandemic era. I don't think it has the draw to really beat like Shang-Chi numbers or Eternals numbers or anything like
Hmm.
that. I think they'll break even with this, and then I think they'll go into streaming or something else later on.
Man.
Because I think this is one of those moments where this was really for the fans. This was honestly for the hardcore who wanted to see a continuation of the storyline from the first two
Hmm.
films.
So
And
genuine fan service.
this was genuine fan service. They built it up. They rewarded you. They literally put as many references in there as they can. The musical cues, the score, the uniforms, little trinkets. We got a fucking J.K. Simmons cameo in this bitch.
Mm.
Um, we got the return of the gatekeeper and keymaster, but
Oh,
return,
oh
but not the original actors.
man,
But we got the creatures to
man.
come back and possess other people
Yo,
to fulfill that role. You know what I
hold
mean?
on, bro. Wait. Did they get Rick? Did they get Rick Moranis?
That no, Rick Moranis was missing. They didn't get
Okay,
Rick
okay,
Moranis.
okay.
They got everybody else but Rick Moranis. He's still in that
Oh
retirement.
man.
It would have been
All right,
nice. It would have been nice to get Lewis Tully in there, man. But
man.
nah, they couldn't. They
Okay.
couldn't get him out.
All right. I dig it, man. I dig it. But so overall, what like, cause I'm not gonna front, man. When I seen the trailer for that, I was like, nah, this ain't it right here. This looks a
Hmm.
little bit. This looks a little bit too. This looks a little bit too catered towards. Cause I mean, Ghostbusters was an adult themed kind of PG-13 movie, man.
Right,
But
right, right.
but they did this for the people who were fans of Ghostbusters. I
Mm.
respect that because they weren't. It sounds like they weren't really chasing that box office return the same way. Because I didn't see the one in 2016. I didn't see that.
Okay.
I can't.
For good reason.
I can't judge whether or not that was a good movie or a bad movie. I can't judge it that way. But what I'm gonna say is that regardless of anything I felt towards it, I don't think that was. I don't feel like, okay, how do I word this? I don't think that it was original. When you have a cast, when you just have a remake of Ghostbusters with three white women and one black woman, it just kind of looks like a new coat of paint on what was
Hmm.
there from 35 years prior. You're not really adding anything to it outside of making the original cast women. You know what I'm saying?
You're
It
not too
just,
far off from it. It really was.
and I don't want to be negative when I say that. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be negative or anti anything when I say that, but you're not providing a fresh look on that property outside of that right there. You know what I'm saying? Three white guys and one black guy swapped out for three white women and one black woman doesn't really do a whole lot to update that property. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Especially if I imagine that when that movie came out, there are a lot of references and visual cues to the original Ghostbusters movie. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm sure there are, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I commented to you, I texted you that this was like the Force Awakens if they did it right. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's fair.
This is like the Force because there's a lot of similar beats. We got the return of Gozer. There was lore from the first movie we talked about, Ivor Shandor, who was the mad creator of all the statues and the creatures and shit. And he had Shandor mines. It was referenced in the first movie. They took
Mm-hmm.
those references and made that a plot point for this new one. So what happened in New York City was basically just one section of that guy's architecture, and he had a whole nother architecture somewhere else in the country, which is where this new movie takes place. So J.K. Simmons cameoed as Evo Shandor in a coffin, basically. It was so random, but it was like, is that fucking J.K. Simmons? And like, it was J.K. Simmons in that shit.
I mean, that's cool.
It is
All of
cool.
that is
Yeah.
cool. Like that's fine, man. But whatever, man. I mean, I'll probably catch it. I'm at, like, what studio put this out? Was it Universal?
No, Sony, man, Sony.
Oh, Sony. Okay, so
Yeah.
this might pop up on Netflix in a couple months, possibly.
Possibly. I would say this is definitely a recommend, highly recommended for the Ghostbuster fans out
Hmm.
there. For your average, movie for a moviegoer, a non-fan, it was a solid family adventure kind of film, kind of young adult film. Um it was definitely serviceable in that regard, but I think you're really gonna have to be a Ghostbuster head to really get the most mileage out of this. And you got to see the original. If you didn't see the 1984 one, or at least the second movie, it's really not gonna connect with you in a way that it should. I mean, you will root for the main character because she's sort of underdog, and it's great that girls get an example of a nerdy kind of scientific young girl that wants to apply into science rather than the typical stuff that they present. So, I mean, it's like you said, instead of swapping it out for like a direct swap, we got a teenage white boy, a teenage black girl, we got a young white girl and a young Asian boy as like your main four. You know what I mean? And Paul Rudd kind of being like, I was expecting him to get in the suit at one point, but he actually
Nope.
played the Keymaster, which was
Oh
which was
wow,
cool.
he didn't earn it. He didn't deserve it, bro. He didn't deserve it,
he
man.
got possessed, man, which was cool. And with that idea,
Hmm.
they rectify some things because we talked about before how that keymaster and gatekeeper was some shady business
Yes,
in the
sir.
first He's in some filthy business in the first movie, right? Where
Nasty work.
nasty work. We're totally, yeah. He got on the scoreboard with that. But in this
Mm-hmm.
one, they made it so Paul Rudd's character was at least romantically linked with the gatekeeper before they got possessed. So it was like,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
well, they were gonna do it anyway, but now that they're possessed, it's like, okay, so
So nobody got violated, is what
nobody
you.
got violated. Nah.
Well, that's very good, very good, man. So overall, how you calling it, bro? How you calling
Uh, I'm
Ghostbusters Afterlife?
I'm gonna call this for the fan, for the hardcore fan, this is gonna be a 9 out of 10. For the
Mm,
average moviegoer, I'm gonna say a non-fan, seven out of 10 for your
okay,
average person looking for, just kind of like because it takes about an hour to get for them to actually bust a ghost. They take their time to develop it, and the action sequences were good. The special effects look good. No complaints on that. The acting was decent. It looked like it was a heartfelt, genuine. Let's try to get in here. Let's try to deliver a film that'll make the fans happy, and then from there, go from there. So, and I mean, for those who like the 2016 version, who feel kind of upset about this new one,
par for the
I
course.
par for the core, man. Like, I know it sucks, but that's kind of part of being the fandom, man. Shit gets retconned all the time.
Yep,
You know, shit that happens, and it's like this doesn't count, and
yep.
that's
And
just one of
don't be
those
and and
scenarios.
and I mean, don't be salty when you know in 2026 or 2027 they do it again with Men in Black. So
Yeah, yep.
I
I
mean.
mean,
I always maintain to this day, brother, to this day, I will always maintain that Ghostbusters should have never had a sequel in Ghostbusters 2, and that Men in Black should have never had a sequel in the Men in Black 2. I will always hold that. Even though you just gave a good review of this movie right here, there's always more that I think can be done with the lore of a property, in that you only do it one time. You know what I'm saying? We talked about Halloween, and I will probably never watch another Halloween movie again, dog. I have no
you're good.
desire. Bro, like my senior year in high school, 2009. Remember Friday the 13th?
Yeah, I remember that joint.
I haven't seen that.
Oh man, dude. Like, hey, you know what? I'll give the film its credit because Ghostbusters Afterlife could have
Hmm.
attempted to be a comedy. There is some comedy in there,
Uh-huh.
but it's not a comedy film. And 2016 was played more like a comedy. With this, they played more of a straightforward drama, or a family drama, young adult drama. And it's easier to do a young adult. They knew the climate. It's easier to do a young adult drama and it being okay than to aim for the stars with a comedy and then
Yep.
none of it hits.
I see. I agree. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's easier to do that than to try to shoot for a mark
Mm,
that you can't reach. And
right,
then, yep, I agree with that. I understand what you're saying. So
right.
this is one that I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna work my way around to eventually seeing that. I respect it, man, but I don't know, bro. Like, there's still a part of me that just would like to know, or like to think that certain things can be preserved where they are and all of that. Do I think that with the current model of the way that movies are, do I think that a sequel to this movie is going to come out in a couple years where Paul Rudd comes back as the Keymaster and all that? No, it's not going to happen. I don't think
Mm-mm.
that's going to happen. But it's good that they got one on the scoreboard and that they appreciated the lore of Ghostbusters. And I'm sure that moment with Egon was some heavy shit right there. I'm sure that was some heavy shit, and they handled it.
That was the price of the ticket right there.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they handled it in a way that was definitely worth the admission of the ticket there. Kind of similar to the moment that we talked about at the end of the mini Saints of Newark in a lot of ways, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Kind of
So
similar.
so
Yeah.
yeah, bro. Any other thoughts you got on Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters Afterlife. Well, I'll tell you about the post-credit scene.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, man. So I mean, we find out that Ernie Hudson, well, Winston actually became a successful businessman after the Ghostbusters venture, and he's kind of like a company tycoon,
Mm-hmm.
and they make him Nick Fury. You know what I mean? He buys the old location, he fixes up the ectomobile, and he says, you know what, we're gonna be open for business again. And they show the old trap in the old lighthouse, if like a light's flashing red, signaling that I think all the ghosts in that container is about to release or some shit like that. But basically, they showcase that yeah, the Ghostbusters are going to be coming back in the future, and Winston is going to be funding them and recruiting them essentially. So they Winston became Director Fury of the Ghostbusters.
So what you're saying is that Sigourney Weaver is gonna be in this next movie, right?
No, she cameoed. She cameoed in the first post credit scene. She cameoed in the credits. They did
Two
a look.
post credit scenes.
There was two. Yeah, everyone left for the very end one with Ernie Hudson, but I knew that there was going to be another one. So, but she was in the first one. She did. They did a play of the first movie where Venkman shocked students, all the male students who fucked up on reading the cards, and he would always have the female girls he was hitting on guess them correctly or whatever. So they did that bit again with Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver with the little, just a little cute, fan service moment with those two, just to get her in the film at some point. So
That's respectful. I respect that.
yeah, man. 9 out of 10 for the ghost heads, 7 out of 10 for the average moviegoer. We'll see if they're gonna do streaming next, or it's Sony. They're gonna definitely do something with this at some point. Continuing on for the ghost heads, you literally this is it. Even if they reboot it again and said we're gonna do the original again with four new, this is the one. This was literally your send off. So whatever happens after this, we sh- everyone should be content because we got the ending that everyone wanted essentially with this film.
Hmm.